Hello, Music Multiverse listeners. Welcome back to another album review. Saturday's episode 10 of 2025. It's another Saturday in the new album trenches. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is an extension of BeyondYourRadio.com. There's an article section there. I write these every week. So if you want to read and have the links there to the bands, the albums, special intricacies, it's there. But what you don't get, if you don't show up here, you don't get Deb Armitage Hicks Maloney. It's right.
Morning.
10 straight weeks. Yes, good morning. I haven't seen you in a while. A few hours ago. Get back from a concert. Hey, we got a show in the morning. Great. As well as when you're watching these shows, you get 3 extras at the end, or 2, or 5, or 4. Well, it's 3 this week, and well, that was a struggle. We might have to get down to 1. That way, it's just it's less work, you know.
Yeah.
Considering you have a catalog album review of Matchbox 20, panelist favorite show, those are the tough weeks to get them done.
I'm waiting for my paycheck.
It's not coming. Some very interesting and diversified albums from us this week. The first one has, it was something that we were on top of the minute the lead singer, songwriter, and genre-bending musician made it official about. It was going to be on the show. It was inescapable, so to speak. And this, his musical moves are, they're like a hard rock Jagger. He's unpredictable, slinky. I don't even know what that means. Maybe he does. And always engaging no matter what the music tale or the take is. And even the process of his unknown bandmates. I think somebody could do an entire show on who do you think that person is? Who do you think that person is? They are not the real names of the musicians that on there. Then hey, we go to Bermuda. Wouldn't you? Let's take a break. Well, once you know of this beauty, you just know. I'm pretty sure we're closing in on over a dozen albums in her career at this time, and she still remains a wonder, a mystery, and as captivating as they probably come, especially from the Triangle. Finally, track a common bird that places itself in an unusual position that might not be as peaceful as we've been used to. But if you've never heard of them before, well, where does that leave you? Let's spend some Saturday here getting to know and get to the bottom of these particular albums. And then, of course, 3 more at the end. And we spared no expense. You know what that means. Jason Byler and the Baron Van Belsky Orchestra. Yes. Don't put that in your name of your band if you want to have the search thing go, the right way.
Yeah, really.
I must have spelled that name 500 different ways, and it was all wrong every time.
Me too.
I love the name. I do. When Jason Byler talks on social media, people watch, they listen, and they learn. What do they learn? Well, that he's got a pulse on making a great connection with the audience, as well as the timing, entertaining, self-promotion, self-deprecating, genuine fun, and seriously not serious. And I love him to death. I think he's the genuine article. So I mean, come on, this is the listing on the Bandcamp credits. All songs written and created via Amateur Witchcraft by Jason Byler and the Baron Van Belsky. Yes. Yes. He will always have a special place in my music-loving heart for Saigon Kick, where he starts. But what he's created with his Von Belsky Orchestra is an audio experience that kind of throws waste to the idea of what hard rock should be, what prog rock genres are, and blurs the lines of what an artist can bring to the rock production and creative table, and then vanish the identity of it and flick it like his wrist and just turn it down. Welcome to the Escapologist and the creative madman at the helm, Jason Byler, which is probably the genuine article of a music-loving musician's musician. All right, that sounded like a load, but then again, the band name is a load. For those who have the prior record, you know what I mean, and you know what to expect. If those of you that don't, well, then you're in probably Dam's seat at the moment. For those of you about to take this journey, believe in the captain at the helm of the album's ship, trusting the explorative yet oddly familiar and sometimes manic state of the concepts evolving and depicting nearly anything you could convey by looking at the album cover.
Mhm.
Just let go. So, you want to define a record? In defining it, you'll ruin it. That's the truth. It doesn't need to be categorized. It doesn't need to be cataloged. It doesn't need to be defined. Give it the broadest genus. Genus. You know what's coming next, right? And then follow it through the multitude of species, slipping in, bellowing out, shredding. I can't even remember if there was shredding in the album, to be honest with you. Still, I think there was. Maybe there
There's had to be.
There had to be. There's validating. Yeah, that's right. I'm making that a new word. We're validating the ballad. Damn it. What we're gonna do. Um, it's emancipating progressive pop rock, and validating the uncharacteristics of true musical charisma. Right? Jason Byler has a musical gift for you, wrapped in a Winchester mystery house, set up begging you to follow, enjoy, appreciate the true intention of creativity and escape, even though you can't truly escape, can you? Damn. I believe
Wow.
this might have been new to you.
Oh, yes.
Okay, you're
It
on.
was it was new to me, but very, very familiar in a lot of spots. Okay.
Ah,
So interesting enough, as I was listening and I'd hear something, I'd write down the name of the song and what it reminded me of. And then I went back and did a little bit of research on him. And surprisingly enough, a lot of his influences is what I heard in these songs. Um, Space Debris and Savior was very like Jane's Addiction or Alice in Chains like type thing. But then,
that's funny. Want to hear me?
yeah.
Kim Mitchell.
Oh my God, really? Okay,
I
maybe.
thought it like Kim Mitchell invaded the molecular structure of a recording space that they were in at that point. Yeah, because I kept thinking, wow, this is just anyway. Go ahead. I was like,
Max Webster, Kim Mitchell, or just Kim Mitchell?
probably the latter Kim Mitchell, not Max Webster.
Okay,
Still,
that's
maybe I.
funny
You know
that
what?
you.
Max Webster. If you said to Mark, remember Max Webster? I'm like, I remember the name. I couldn't for
Okay,
some
all
reason.
right.
It's not coming to me, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was not, and they weren't around a
And this
long
was
time,
not
but
the Kim Mitchell of Patio Lanterns. See, this is the Kim Mitchell of I Am a Wild Party.
yes,
I know
yes,
I'm a lot
okay,
of
yeah,
feathers without much chicken.
okay, got it. All right, thanks for the clarification. Stars Collide, Supertramp, all the way for me. What was Violent Creatures? Is that what that sounded
Yep,
like
yep.
Queen?
Well, yeah.
And then Hollow. I don't know, but that just felt like you were floating in outer space. It was just really, ooh. This whole album, like you said, you can't categorize it. One song to the next, you would think you're listening to a compilation of many different artists. Really, but good, but good, but good. You can still tell the theme of what he's trying to do. And you said that none of the musicians are real that are listed on the
Yeah, the
credits.
names are generally not true. There might be one or two that, but I think there's some famous people that are being shrouded in mystery.
Okay, got it. That's clever too.
Yeah, I was copying and pasting that into the article section, and I've had a hell of a time pasting today. I don't know. And I'm just sitting there going, you know what? Maybe this isn't even worth it. The names aren't even real. I can't even think of them off the top of my head, like Eddie Fahedi or something. I don't know, just not real names. And they weren't in the prior record. They weren't real names either.
Okay, interesting. So good.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. So I liken the Escapologist to one of the really good motion pictures that has a lot of everything you love. And in this case, it's everything you love about music creation in general. It escapes to genres and styles, even though the vocal delivery to the recording of everything is sort of I don't know. Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at there is okay, so take Zombies and Black Swans as a
Mm-hmm.
song, right? It's a prime example of quick, catchy switch up that hits like Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Track
Yeah.
it right while Space Debris again goes to Kim Mitchell in my mind, right? So make no mistake, this is an industrious undertaking. Yes, that's the lead track. I'm being clever.
Yep.
And it you it oh my God, there's no question that he takes great pride and prejudice in the design and completion of everything. And that's the true accomplishment here of the love and the projectile let it all out rock and roll that should always be considered, right? But you'll never win the Oscar because it's
Right.
just too much. And that's the sad part because in actuality, it is great. And
Yep.
the masses will love it. And if you don't love it, you can write me a hate mail and I will disown you because this come on, not at all. Jason and the Baron Van Belsky here have another album that will be hitting my collection and my ear over and over again. If you love the taste of Devin Townsend, Saigon Kick, and a head bopping good time, you're going to enjoy every moment of the Escapologist. And this is absolutely no hollow promise from this music. Next up, well. Okay, so this is Heather Nova, and this is Breath and Air. Mm. Be very, very aware that I believe that Miss Nova can do no wrong. So this moment in which we partake, you'll have to take with a grain of salt. She could probably sing about well, even when I want to return to sugar from her Oyster album that blew me away some several decades ago. The Bermudian mistress of vocal inception has me trapped in her triangle of songwriting, lyricism, and a captivating delivery that seems to somewhat change, yet not change, which can shift like a storm or like the sand underneath your feet. I'll leave that one for Deb because I got a feeling. Breath and Air is more to the peaceful tranquility and contemplative beauty of the sand, the water, and the horizon as it is to life, and the pursuit and memory of it. She could sing about a colonoscopy gone very, very wrong, okay? And her acoustic guitar and soothing wispiness would somehow paint it like a Picasso. As you can say, again, take this with a grain of salt. I am smitten and wooed. Okay, that kind of hospital car crash meets Terrifier 4 should probably require electronic accompaniment, but not for her. But who am I to suppose the magical handling of such things? Actually, I'm sure that Heather probably doesn't own a TV because I just get this feeling it's like she lives on that island and she walks the earth like Kane from Kung Fu, enveloping the global surroundings, looking for total enlightenment and the entertaining beauty of it all to describe it. Breath and Air has the sound and pitch of Mazzy Star, otherwise known as Hope Sandoval, and that type of recording. This is not unfamiliar territory for this intimate vocalist, with one of the most underrated ranges of musical in the music multiverse. She, bar none, and probably a relatively unknown musician in the grand scheme of everything. That's vocally brilliant as well as compositionally extremely strong. While she had a alternative approach in the early years, which I, still suck up to this day, Breath and Air is keeping closer to the pop, folk, and alternative adult contemporaryism. But Beginning is an example of the beauty that matches the voice.
How to surrender the fortress of my mind. I disguised my fear.
In lyric and absolute connection to hand on and every carefully crafted word and carefully crafted either guitar, violin. I think she's at piano here. I think there were only 3 to 4 people in the room when this was recorded, and a cellist who came in on the side. You know, she probably had to fly her in on some special airline or an invisible jet. I don't. Damn, over to you.
Oh, it was just so beautiful. Yeah, she I guess some of her songs have been on soundtracks, and one of the movies that I really love is Serendipity, and one of her songs was on Serendipity. I Am Sam, The Crow. She really loves poetry, so she's put some poetry albums out, I guess. Uh, she plays piano and violin, and she went to the Rhode Island School of Design, which is a pretty cool school, and
Yeah, it's neither a road nor an island.
discuss. Um, and she toured with Lilith Fair, so it's not surprising that some of these songs you can hear a Sarah McLachlan, like that's what I heard in Beginning. That song really gave me a Sarah feel. There's some more subdued Taylor Swift type feel to these songs. Not as poppy, but still just the lyrics and the themes and things like that. Um, if anybody says they don't like this album, they don't like music, because it's just ridiculously good, without being pushy. It's not a pushy album. It's just you just fall into it. Just
Yeah.
fall into it. And she really has a way of pairing the right instruments with the way she's going to deliver the song with her voice for that particular song. It's just not the standard, okay, we're just going to have the piano there the whole time with her. If she needs to add some string instruments and things like that, and just the tone of them too. They blend together so well that it's almost like you can't tell where the instruments stop and her voice starts. And that's how music is supposed to sound, I think.
Yeah, that's a great description. I like that.
So I loved it. Number 2, I love, love, love both of them so far.
Awesome. So most of this album hangs in the fingers of her acoustic playing and the breath within her vocal that goes from wispy to that of Joni Mitchell, like Singularity and Intimacy, which Farewell, the final track on the album, is a beautiful guilty pleasure of that wonderful emulation to the Canadian songwriting icon. Another thing you always get with Heather Nova is the intelligent lyrical photo lens of a woman who has traveled the world fearlessly. She grew up on a boat with her family, and
Yeah.
talk about close quarters. So she does not do so with a intentional effect. It's just part of it all, and that is whether it is the seas with Poseidon, right? Or the lights of Sicily, which I'm assuming she was there because it just, it's elegant and it's necessary. There's
Yeah,
even a point where, yes, she even drops Mazzy Star's name in the actual track, which I thought was kind of non-coincidental, I don't think. Be very aware that I am caught in the triangle of Heather Nova, and I'm never going to leave that place. It's like the Hotel California. It is familiar, it's gorgeous, inviting, and a place I wish I lived in beyond the audio's secret world that I'm trying to share with you now. Heather Nova is a beautiful storyteller, a very unique voice in discovery, a masterful minimalist in the surrounding details that unfold her tapestries or travel, her knowledge, emotion. This album has connection to spiritualization, the ebb and flow of life. Whoops, that's probably a song on there.
Mhm.
You know, she is one rare treasure that if you have not gone to the seas of the music world to find, you should. Like Pirates of the Caribbean, your bounty will be plentiful, and the breath of air you will feel upon your ears could be absolutely life-changing.
Wow.
Doves, not the Doves, Doves. Constellations for the Lonely. The band started in 2000, so we're 25 years in at this point. Few records, number 6 maybe or 7. We have this difficult discussion every time in catalog review shows. The trouble of the distance between albums, whether it's too fast or whether it's too long. In the case of the Doves, and I say that because that's just proper English, but in case of Doves, Britain's pub alternative rock band, which is where I would have categorized them until this record, we reached five years on the delivery of Constellation for the Lonely between that and the prior record. What makes this a hard band in that case is the rediscovery time. If you were listening to them before, and I have been for years, you lose your grip on what was and where maybe the progression of things was starting to become. There's a lot going on this for this time around. It caught me off guard completely. Or did I just not recall the past and the progressive nature that was coming of the band? It's tremendous album like Kingdom of Rust, Some Cities, The Last Broadcast, and the debut Lost Souls. I'd say it's a ton of all of it, to be honest with you. Let's start with the thought process that my past explanation of my love for Doves would not include that they were some sort of power trio. Although there are 3 guys in the band, I would have said it was a more subdued, layered pub experience. And when Constellations for the Lonely starts, I am in the wheelhouse of confirming that statement with Renegades. It shares the past of their catalog in the British ethereal alternative pop and its immersive vocal experience, and first entrances me to their sound to begin with. Yes, maybe a little Elbow meets Coldplay, right? Okay, now you're getting familiar. The melodies, lyrical mindset share a very insightful, radio-friendly poise and pitch. But as the song goes into the second act, I'm starting to pick up on a lot more instrument inclusion and production mastery, which was always subtle, if I recall correctly. I'm sure they have always mixed and sampled, but there is a depth to this and a heaviness to it all that I don't recall. And as if they were toying with the progressive rock end of the spectrum. There are places on the record where it's so evident, but unsuspecting songs that don't start or seemingly want to lead there. Southern Belle reaches into Pink Floyd at the end of the record, but it's places like Stupid Schemes that are a prime example of holding to Dove-like dreamy tones, but having programming and arrangement issues reach out and attack at a prog rock level. And it's sort of like, wait a minute, are there other band members? Did somebody else start singing? Well, there was always a singer, but that's me and 25 years of Doves. Damn.
I was going to ask you about the vocals. I was confused. Okay, because
2 lead vocalists. One was more prominent, not this record. This record seems to have a shared experience, and for some reason, the last record, I don't have a strong recollection of what the breakdown was. So, but there are 2 vocalists.
All right,
And
because
they both background each other too. So, I don't know whether we're starting to become the alternative rock blue rodeo where
yeah, exactly. No, that confused me at first, but after I listened to it a few times, I knew what to expect. But yeah, they started out as a different band, I guess, in the mid 90s, early to mid 90s, and then they it was called Sub, and their studio burned down and they destroyed all of their recordings. So then they decided to start new. I don't know why they didn't call themselves Phoenix instead of Doves. Got it. But their name actually comes from the dovetailing of guitar lines, whatever that means. It really doesn't have anything to do with birds.
Maybe that's that ethereal kind of feeling.
Yeah, maybe.
I certainly don't want to be behind a dove's tail.
No. And they're different influences you can hear. I mean, they're very interested in film scores and how do you put that all together with a movie? And Drop in the Ocean, that sounded like a song that could be in a film score. The one that I thought was very strange was Saint Teresa. It was like monks. It sounded like monks in the beginning, and I thought, what is this? I thought that was out of place. I didn't like that song at all. But I heard the Pink Floyd in the Butterfly House.
I saw a light on across the street in a house that was calling out to me. I took my time. I was in some kind of dream. I lost my mind in the butterfly house.
Strange
yeah.
weather. Yeah, you could get that kind of feeling. And all in all, it was, I didn't have any preconceived notions about it. So I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't, we've done some bad albums and it's not close to a bad album, that's for sure.
Will it have you go backwards?
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's the changing vocal deliveries and lyricism, right? The Butterfly House. Phew, it's like a psycho pub special that I couldn't even define or place into their catalog of anything the band had ever done. To me, that was the outlier, as well as Strange Weather, which actually the primest of examples of the entire progressive nature and the vocal lyrical delivery that was changing. The vocals are tripped out, fantastic, and then we get this organ grind keyboard thing going on. It's like Phantom of the Non-Opera. I just, and then it leads into that strange psych bass and rhythmic ride that where you weren't expecting. So but we're not starting to really get into and enjoy, because I'm still trying to, if you're a Dove fan, you're trying to, where, what is going on? Why is this happening? And maybe you're off put by it. You know, I'm 4 listens in because I couldn't put it away because I was being tormented by the discovery of the record, and I didn't want to give a review if I couldn't put my finger on. Just like, I don't want to listen to it because it doesn't sound like the Doves. It does. That, you know, it's deeper and emotional. They're usually emotional. They've got mood. They've always had mood. That's one of the greater pulls on the whole thing. It just seems to be an odd new dimension to that emotion. There's a bigger range. There's more sound. There's more exploration going on, and way more to listen to and listen after your listen. This is the kind of album that through a year can start to creep into your self-conscious. It can raise expectations and start to modify the perception of this 25-year catalog. I do have one of the albums before the 2000. I don't even remember how I got it. But there's just a ton of expression here that reaches from the very constellation their album suggests. And while the vocal and delivery seem as lonely as the title, there's a lurking connection that your ear is catching onto with each listen. Truly an album to get into as the year progresses. I have this feeling. This is one that the experience you were not planning on, I think. All right. So three extras. What do we have? So we're gonna start with a band of I had no concept of or anything of that nature. And the name of the band is Stone Cream. Stonified Blues. Well, if you're going to be called Stone Cream, I'm expecting stoner rock with heavy cream. You know, that heavy cream seems to be the vocalist. But I'm the album is stone rock blues, bar none. And you're like going, all right, I know the wheelhouse this is in. I feel the comfortability it is. And then the vocalist comes on, and I'm like, they just pull him out of the crowd. Or did he smoke enough cigarettes prior to? Does he have cancer of the throat? But there's no change. it is, for me, it is identical throughout. And at that point, I was somewhat wondering how that recording happens and how you go. There's got to be a little bit of a range because the band, it seems, can range.
Everything has been told.
Deb.
Yeah. Well, their name says it all. I mean, it's like swamp rock, you know, you
That's
just
a
felt
good,
like
yeah,
you were,
yeah. Swamp.
you know, just reminded me more of like a Steppenwolf or Mountain, Monster Magnet, and that kind of thing. But yeah, the potential was there to be a lot better if the vocals were there. I mean, I liked them. I liked the arrangements. I liked the songs themselves, but I just didn't feel that it meshed very well. Maybe they could re-record it with somebody else. Oh,
Well, yeah, I mean, you hate to say things like that, but the
I
honesty
know.
is that when you bring that sort of riff and swamp canery will you know, yeah, you expect okay, so I like it if you liked the Four Horsemen or
Uh-huh.
Jackal, um,
Oh
you're
yeah.
you're gonna be okay, but you're gonna want something more, right? So
Hmm.
this is I
Yep.
don't know if this is the first record or not. I obviously with the struggle I was having with the Doves record, this didn't get enough play for me. But I knew right away that I was like, okay, the band is thrown down. They've got this stone rock, swamp rock, blues, heavy blues,
Mhm.
uh, and it's not original, but it's not a reinvent, but it's good. It's solid and it
Mhm.
changes. But the vocal did
Mhm.
not change. And even if you're going to be that vocalist that has, I mean, let's compare it real quick to the growl Cookie Monster kind of thing that happens in death metal.
Mhm.
There are people that have range in there.
Yeah.
All right. I know that sounds weird, but they have range. You have
Mhm.
to listen more. I've listened to enough. So when this came on, I'm like, this is not going, like, three songs in, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, nothing's going to change, I don't think. And it's okay. And maybe the singer needs a reckoning. It can happen.
Mhm.
Not everything. Michael Hutchins didn't sound like Michael Hutchins in the first couple In Excess records. He's just playing to a pop thing.
That's
There was
right.
something there, obviously, but I'm not
Yeah.
downing it. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that be prepared. And this is one of the problems I always have with Stoner Rock is that sometimes the vocalist is either left low in the mix and not prominent, or just they thought, oh, the musical carry, Jimmy, you just go, man. Just lay it down.
Yeah.
We'll cover it. I'm like, nah, Jimmy needs some lessons. Jimmy needs a connection that's beyond the guttural
Yeah.
delivery. And it didn't help me remember a lyric. That's another.
Correct.
All right, so let's get to a guy who I haven't listened to in years.
Mhm.
This is Edwin McCain. If you remember Edwin McCain from the 90s, this is his new album Lucky, and I got 2 listens in, and so I'm like, is this the voice I remember from Rose? Was it Rose?
Oh,
Misguided Roses. So in case you're wondering, it's this record, right? This is not where
yeah.
it started, by the way. I do not have the debut,
Oh,
which when I was looking through, I'm like, I don't have that. Why don't I have that? So anyway, I love this guy. I don't know why I haven't returned. He's got about 4 or 5 records in between this. Yeah, it's not like he went away. What is this, a 5-year hiatus, maybe? I don't remember how long.
I don't know.
Um, I should say I'm holding this. I love this. No, I like the new record, Lucky. it's got a little bit of everything, but his vocal, this is okay, great follow-up. This is a vocalist. All right.
Mhm,
Even when he just barely sings, it's emotive.
mhm.
Even when he goes to reach, it reaches, and you connect with everything he's saying. And everything, and even that shit song on there. Oh, okay. All right. So now we'll get to it. Cool Miles.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
So
I
we're
agree.
singing about smoking. That one I understand the I did there was a name drop. Who did he name drop in there? He name dropped a band, like you were smoking with this band or this artist,
Um,
and now I don't remember. That's terrible. I say you remember his lyrics, but I mean the fun of the I miss the cheating.
oh,
Yes. Yes. And this is after, okay, so let's just open this record. They got Chasing a Memory, right? And Love Me,
yep.
Leave Me Alone. When it does, oh my God, When It Does is a tremendous single.
Pray it doesn't, but when it does, and you feel like heaven's falling, when it does, and you don't know who to trust, I can't stop your river rising. I promise you the water won't get rough, but I'll be right here beside you when it does.
I don't know if
Yeah.
that's what they put out first. If I would have, anybody in the studio would have had half a brain, would have gone, okay, that's the lead single, put it on every contemporary radio.
Mhm.
It's a devastatingly cool, good song. It has all kinds of things it could mean to people, which is what you want, right? But then Cool Miles, Kool, because they're
Yeah.
talking about a cigarette.
Yes.
So, take that with some salt. Anyway, Deb.
It was such a good album. Um, yeah, I like how you said about the cheating, that
Yeah.
honky tonk, and his voice is very transformative depending on what the song is about and what the feel of the song is. I mean, you mentioned When It Does, is that what it was? When It Does.
Yeah, when it does.
That it's his ballads are sweet. They're just sweet. They're very I guess you like being in a warm blanket is how I feel when I hear him sing that way. Um, and it's funny because I read about him and his influences are not surprising. The Eagles, Elton John, James Taylor, and Helicopter reminded me of James Taylor a little
Yes.
bit. And but then Earth, Wind, and Fire, which I think is so funny, but there's where that little jazzy in the Cool Miles, a
Well, it's
little
the
bit.
soul side, right? He's got a soul.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And he has never been trained as a performer. He plays by ear. He taught himself how to play instruments um and Lucky All the Time, that song sounded
Mhm.
like the Wallflowers to me. Um a little bit of that. And but the coolest thing about this guy, he went to Coastal Carolina University, where my boy went. So you gotta love him just for that, even if his album was shitty.
Yeah, you would have
Yeah.
been like, "Oh, he's the greatest guy ever."
So no,
I
good.
honestly want to go back and I missed some albums. I kind of lost track. This reminds you, we were lucky that we came across this in our
Yes.
in our putting it to the back end of things. And honestly, several of the records this week could have been all in the front three. So, um,
Yep.
so
It
all
was
right. So
very easy to listen to. Very.
yes, and I think if he did, it won't surprise me if he's not back up in the charting systems because of how
Mm,
the world works today. But if he
yeah.
comes around on tour, I'm gonna go because I
Cool.
think
Me
we
too.
really
I'll go.
enjoyed it. So we finish up. We have to fasten up with Yellow Jackets, the jazz, Steely Danish. Um, I don't know how many people are in this band. I
I don't. I
didn't have time.
don't.
Uh,
At 4 or 5. I don't know.
yeah, it's quite the quite the establishment, and
Mhm.
it's sort of like the snarky puppy, kind of
Yeah.
thing. I say puppy and the cat, I can hear it over here. I say puppy.
Gotta be
Here
part
he
of the
is.
show.
So we're talking an hour and 3 minutes. And when first listening to this album, there were many times where I went, I'm still listening to them. It's been a while,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And it is familiarity, um, extremely well played, professionally executed jazz fusion-ish. Of course, and I dropped Steely Dan in there because there's quite a bit of that feel.
Mhm.
Deb, how are you? Is this your first Yellow Jacket experience?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this kind of music. We've talked about how it makes me feel a little agitated and anxious, and I can certainly appreciate the complexity of it. There, when I listen to it, maybe that's where my anxiousness comes. Is maybe I'm thinking I'm in a nightmare, and somebody asked me to try to play that, or I was going to be shot. And
Yes,
it's like
yes.
there's no
The
way I'm ever.
exam begins now. Ah!
Yes, yes, I think that's more about it. But
I don't even play the lute. Why are you? No.
but this, I guess, the songs are they're just not enough originality from one to the next. They're undistinguishable to me. So it's not where I could go, oh, I'm so glad this part of the album is on. It just all kind of runs together for me. Um, in parts, all I could think of was Will Ferrell and Anchorman playing the jazz flute and walking across the tables in a smoky bar. Okay. And trying to impress his girlfriend. Um, and you can hear, the electric part of it. They cite Herbie Hancock
Yes.
as one of their influences for sure.
It's all right. I kind of had that impression. I do agree with you that it does all bleed together. There doesn't seem to
Okay.
be
All
a
right.
quintessential, wow, we went to there, we went to here, we went to there.
Yeah.
It did seem like it played out as a and the idea of fasten up. I was expecting
Mm,
not modal. I was
hmm
expecting a lot more bite, and
hmm
it was more modal, I guess would be. But I'm
Yeah.
going to learn more jazz eventually in the next month, I would think, once we get together with somebody who might be coming on the program. So which would be great because I need a jazz education. I love jazz and I appreciate it, and I have all this like cool things to say, and some of them get presented in public, but uh,
Yes.
I'm still a dummy, so uh, I can't get educated. I can't take classes because I don't have any time.
You
So
don't have time.
I need a 30-minute education from a person who comes on the show and goes, oh yes,
Yeah.
this is this, and I'll
Go
take
right
my
to the
book and
source.
yes,
Right to the
right
source.
to the
Cut to the
source.
chase.
So yeah, so Fasten Up gets I'm gonna go back because I'm not familiar with their catalog either. I
Okay.
don't know why. But I do know that when it comes to them, they kind of hold this gathering momentum, and I think the age of the people in the band spans very different ages. So that kind of leads me to like, that could be very interesting as to how they put things together. And oh my God, they've been around a while. I'm pretty sure since like the 90s.
hmm
I'm sorry, maybe the 80s, actually. I
Oh,
think
really?
yeah, I could be out of my mind, but I want to say, yeah, debut album 1981.
Oh,
1981.
wow.
Yeah. And that one was only 38 minutes. So, yeah. Anyway. So what did you think of these albums? Please leave a comment or two so that we can figure out how this went for your experience. Like what you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course. Articles, videos, podcasts will come in April. Go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Of course, join me tomorrow for Unknown Sunday. Alan Walker.
Oh,
Never heard of Alan till a little while ago. So
ah,
diving into
cool.
that rabbit hole. Do that with me. Thanks for watching and happy listening.